Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and today we're at home baking. And what have I got for you today is we're making bread pudding. Now I bet you wonder what bread pudding is. For those who don't know what bread pudding is, the old bakers and myself, we have to use our old bread up somewhere. And in the old bakers years ago, this is exactly what we used to do. This bread will either end up in pig swill with a farmer, or we make it into our own version of a pig swill. Bread pudding. Very interesting. Please subscribe and please share, and don't forget guys, the recipe is below the video in the description. Anyway, we'll get right on with the video. And for the recipe guys, there basically isn't one. This is sort of a made up one on the hop. And this is what us bakers did. Because basically speaking, when we get bread left at the end of the day, and we can get stacks of this stuff, say, in a bakery, we just might get a bag full, just chuck it in the bin for the pig man. But what's left, we keep for ourselves. And it could be like, could be 50 loaves, could be 100 loaves. So it's all a guesstimate. So for us today, you need 2 large stale loaves, a bowl of fruit, some mixed spice. You want a carton of cream, don't matter what sort of cream, as long as it's fresh cream. You want some brown demerara sugar. And you also want some hot water. And we'll get round to that in a minute. And what you need, guys, is a tray with a high side, also lined. Now this particular tray is 315 by 215 by 50. Moving on swiftly to how we do bread pudding. Save killing your worktop, guys. Use a breadboard. Right, and all we're going to do, guys, is take your loaf and you're going to take the crusts off. Oh, throw that in the sink. Now, in the bakery, we'd have left all the crusts on, but we're not going to do that because it'll take too damn long. So, basically speaking, take all the crusts off. This takes me back to being a kid. Used to do this in the bakery when I was 16. It's probably the first job you get to do in the bakery. You'll see why this is a guesstimate. Because bread pudding is guesstimate. So if a baker tells you they got a recipe, they're basically lying. Right, now what we're going to be doing with this, guys, is sawing it up into pieces. Right, so we've now broken it all up into little pieces. They're quite, they're not miniature, they're quite chunks. It's a waste of time going too small. Now all we're going to do is get your bowl and put everything into the bowl. Right guys, now into this, you want 1 litre of water. Get yourself some hot water. And all we're going to do is pour it straight over it. And also get some out the tap. So there you go. There's a litre of water. Now, this is just a guesstimate because as you can appreciate, you can't really weigh bread. So all we're going to do, guys, is get our hands in and give it a good mix round. This already feels as though it probably needs another half a litre. So we're going to add another half a litre of water in here. So you get a drift now. In theory, this is 1.5 litres into 2 large loaves of bread. And straight away, that's just spot on, that is. Now what we're going to do is just mix this round. And the idea you don't use factory sliced bread because you just can't get the water into it like this. Factory sliced bread, the great thing about that, it's great for fishing. Because fish like that type of thing. In fact, pigs reeve their nose up at factory sliced bread. And as you can see, this is just now looking like pig swill. And this is exactly how the farmer feeds the pigs with it. And now we're going to leave this for 2 hours. We just want the water to really get into the bread. Though it's okay, it feels fine, it just wants a couple of hours as it is just to do its own thing. We're ready now to start moving on to the bread pudding because it's rested long enough. Right, well, first and foremost, what we're going to do is put in the amount of fruit that you want. Now, I quite like mine a bit fruitier, so we'll start putting in the fruit. I think a couple of handfuls to start with. And just give that a stir around. And then you just look at this and you just say, well, do you think I need some more? If you need more fruit, you put in what you want. Now, I think I'm going to put a bit more in. Now, I know this still looks white. Now what we're going to do is start off maybe a spoonful of brown sugar. And give that a good stir around. And this is all we do in the bakery, guys. We're turning that pig swill into food that we eat. Now, what you want to do is just taste a bit. No, I need some more sugar. And this is all you do. You taste it. Lovely. Now what we want to do is pop some cream in. For this, I'd only put half of this in. And now, you mix spice. Just put a bit in at a time, don't put loads in. And once again, you taste it, see what it tastes like. At this point, the pigs will not touch it because they are not a lover of mixed spice. Little taste. No. A bit more spice. Cool. That is absolutely lush. And if it tastes that good without cooking it, you just imagine what it's going to taste like when it's cooked. But I think I'm still going to put a little bit more sugar in. And a bit more fruit. And that's it, guys. It's as simple as that, guys. Right, and now all we need is the tray. And all we're going to do is put it straight into the tray. Now don't worry if you've got more than the tray. So we want to fill this up just so it's almost to the top. In fact, all of this will go in this pot. There you go. Now, to top off this, guys, you need to pop on some brown sugar just onto the top. And just put your brown sugar over the top. So you now know how to make bread pudding. The important thing is, guys, you write down the recipe that you want to make. See, so you can see what I've done. So when you come back to it, you make it the way you want it. This is how I like mine. It's not necessarily be the way you like it. Right, and all we do now, guys, we pop that into the oven, and that will be baking for around about 1 hour at give or take 160, 180. And now we'll pop it into the oven. Right, guys, the bread pudding's ready. We'll get it out of the oven. Oh, there we go. Well, guys, we're going to have to leave this a good hour or two so it gets really, really cold to actually be able to cut this up. Well, guys, there's your bread pudding out. That looks a cracking bread pudding. But there's no point looking at it. We're going to have to cut it up and test it. Please subscribe and please share. And don't forget, guys, your recipe is below the video in the description. But remember, the bread pudding doesn't have the type of recipe you would normally have. It is all a guesstimate. And we'll see you very shortly in my crazy baker kitchen. Laters!